Hello viewers, welcome back to our channel Career Prep. Today we'll learn about fractions. Fractions is the foundation topic in mathematics. A thorough knowledge of fractions is necessary to solve many problems in mathematics. Problems based on this topic are asked in many of the competitive exams. So please learn this topic thoroughly. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to get notifications as soon as we post a new video. So let's start. So what are fractions? A fraction is a part of the whole and is written as a upon b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0. So a fraction is a part of the whole. Let's understand this further. Now let's take the example of a fraction 3 upon 5. The fraction 3 upon 5 means 3 parts out of 5 equal parts of the whole given quantity. If the whole given quantity is divided into 5 equal parts, then 3 parts out of those 5 equal parts is written as 3 upon 5. 3 upon 5 is the fraction here. Let's understand this concept further using an example. Supposing a pizza is divided into 5 equal slices and you have eaten 3 slices out of the 5 slices. It means you have eaten 3/5 of the pizza and 2/5 of the pizza is still left over. Since you have eaten 3 slices out of the 5 slices, it means you have eaten 3/5 of the pizza. And out of the 5 slices, now only 2 slices are remaining. So 2/5 of the pizza is still left over. Hope you have understood this concept. Now 3 upon 5 can also be read as 3/5 or 3 by 5. Now let's understand the meaning of a few terms of the fraction. Consider the fraction a by b. Here a and b are called the terms of the fraction a by b. So a and b are called the terms of the fraction. The upper term a is called its numerator and the lower term b is called its denominator. So in the fraction a by b, a is called the numerator and b is called the denominator. Now fractions whose denominators are same are called like fractions. For example, 3 by 7 and 5 by 7 are like fractions because their denominators are the same. Fractions whose denominators are different are called unlike fractions. For example, 2 by 9 and 3 by 5 are called unlike fractions because their denominators are different. So if the denominators of the fractions are same, then the fractions are called like fractions. If the denominators of the fraction are different, then the fractions are called unlike fractions. Now let's learn about the different types of fractions. A fraction whose denominator is 10, 100, 1000, etc. is called a decimal fraction. A fraction whose denominator is not 10, 100, 1000, etc. is called a vulgar fraction. A fraction whose numerator is positive and less than its denominator is called a proper fraction. So, a fraction whose numerator is less than its denominator is a proper fraction. For example, 7 by 12 is a proper fraction because the numerator 7 is less than its denominator 12. 3 by 100 is also a proper fraction because 3 is less than 100. A fraction whose numerator is greater than its denominator is called an improper fraction. A fraction whose numerator is greater than its denominator is an improper fraction. For example, 9 by 5. Here the numerator is greater than the denominator. 9 is greater than 5. So 9 by 5 is an improper fraction. Similarly, 1000 by 19 is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than its denominator. That is 1000 is greater than 19. So 1000 by 19 is an improper fraction. A fraction which is expressed as a combination of an integer and a proper fraction is called a mixed fraction. For example, 5 1 by 3. 5 1 by 3 is a mixed fraction. Here 5 is the integer part and 1 by 3 is the proper fraction. So a combination of an integer and a proper fraction is a mixed fraction. So 5 1 by 3 is a mixed fraction. An improper fraction can be expressed as a mixed fraction. To do that, you have to divide the numerator by the denominator. Then the mixed fraction will be quotient remainder upon denominator. For example, 13 by 5. Here 13 by 5 is an improper fraction. This can be expressed as a mixed fraction. To do that, you have to divide the numerator 13 by the denominator 5. When you divide 13 by 5, you will get 2 as the quotient, 3 as the remainder. Here 5 is the denominator. So this 5 will also be the denominator in the mixed fraction. So 13 by 5 can be expressed as the mixed fraction 2 3 by 5, quotient remainder upon denominator. Hope you have understood this. Now a mixed fraction can be converted to an improper fraction by multiplying the integer with the denominator and adding the numerator to the product. The denominator of the improper fraction will be the same as the denominator of the proper fraction. Let's understand this with an example. Consider the mixed fraction 2 3 by 5. This can be converted to an improper fraction. To do that, you have to multiply the integer with the denominator and add the numerator to the product. That is 2 multiplied by 5 plus 3. Now, the denominator of this proper fraction will be the denominator of the improper fraction also. So 2 3 by 5 can be expressed as an improper fraction as follows. You have to 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3 divided by 5, which is nothing but 13 by 5. So 2 3 by 5 is expressed as the improper fraction 13 by 5. Now let's learn about more types of fractions. Fractions with numerator as 1 are known as unit fractions. For example, 1 by 4, 1 by 7, 1 by 9, etc. are all unit fractions because their numerators are 1. Equivalent fractions are the fractions that represent the same value. For example, 4 by 8 and 2 by 4 are equivalent fractions because they have the same value. When you divide 4 by 2, you get 2. When you divide 8 by 2, you get 4. So 4 by 8 is equal to 2 by 4. So 4 by 8 and 2 by 4 are equivalent fractions. Similarly, 2 by 4 and 1 by 2 are equivalent fractions because they have the same value. When you divide 2 by 2, you will get 1. When you divide 4 by 2, you will get 2. So 2 by 4 and 1 by 2 have the same value. Hence, these two are also equivalent fractions. Now let's learn how to find equivalent fractions of any given fraction. To get equivalent fractions of any given fraction, you have to multiply both the numerator as well as the denominator of the given fraction by the same number. Or you have to divide both the numerator and the denominator of the given fraction by the same number. Let's understand this with an example. Let's find two fractions equivalent to 5 by 7. To find a fraction equivalent to 5 by 7, you have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of this fraction by the same number. So first let's multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, 7 multiplied by 2 is 14. So you get the fraction 10 by 14. 10 by 14 is equivalent to 5 by 7 because they have the same value. If you divide both 10 and 14 by 2, you will get 5 by 7. So 10 by 14 and 5 by 7 are equivalent fractions because they have the same value. Similarly, let's multiply both the numerator and the denominator of 5 by 7 with 3. So 5 multiplied by 3 is 15. 7 multiplied by 3 is 21. So you got the fraction 15 by 21. 15 by 21 and 5 by 7 are equivalent fractions because they have the same value. If you divide 15 by 3, you will get 5. If you divide 21 by 3, you will get 7. So 15 by 21 is equivalent to 5 by 7 because they have the same value. Now let's learn how to compare fractions. Comparing fractions means comparing the given fractions in order to tell if one fraction is less than, greater than, or equal to another. Like whole numbers, we can compare fractions as well using the same symbols less than, greater than, and equal to. So comparing fractions means comparing the given fractions to tell if one fraction is less than, greater than, or equal to another fraction. Let's see how. If two fractions have the same denominators, the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. For example, consider the two fractions 16 by 17 and 6 by 17. These two fractions have the same denominator 17. So the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. Since 16 is greater than 6, 16 by 17 is greater than 6 by 17. Next, if two fractions have the same numerators, then the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater. Let's consider these two fractions 1 by 2 and 1 by 4. These two fractions have the same numerator 1. So the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater. Here 2 is smaller than 4. So 1 by 2 is greater than 1 by 4. Next, fractions are said to be in ascending order when they are arranged according to their values from lowest to biggest. So fractions are said to be in ascending order when they are arranged according to their values from lowest to biggest. For example, these fractions are in ascending order because their values are from lowest to biggest. 3 by 17 is smaller than 5 by 17, is smaller than 7 by 17, is smaller than 9 by 17. Here 3 by 17 is the lowest fraction and 9 by 17 is the biggest fraction. You can understand this easily because here all the denominators are the same. So the fraction with greater numerator is greater. So 9 by 17 is the greatest and 3 by 17 is the smallest. Fractions are said to be in descending order when they are arranged according to their values from biggest to lowest. Look at these fractions. Here 19 by 25 is the biggest and 9 by 25 is the smallest. So these fractions are arranged in descending order. 19 by 25 is bigger than 17 by 25, is bigger than 13 by 25, is bigger than 9 by 25. So these fractions are in descending order. Here also the denominators are the same. So when you observe the numerators, the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. So 19 is greater than 17, is greater than 13, is greater than 9. So these fractions are in descending order from the biggest value to the lowest value. Now let's learn about the methods used to compare fractions. The common methods used to compare fractions are decimal method, LCM method to make the denominators the same, and the cross multiplication method. First, let's learn about the decimal method of comparing fractions. In this method, we compare the decimal values of the fractions. For this, the numerator of the fraction is divided by the denominator of the fraction, and the fraction is thus converted into a decimal. Then the decimal values are compared. Let's understand this with an example. Compare 4 by 5 and 3 by 4. First, write 4 by 5 and 3 by 4 in decimals. To do that, divide 4 by 5, you will get 0.8. Divide 3 by 4, you will get 0.75. Now compare the decimal values. Obviously 0.8 is greater than 0.75. Next, the fraction with the larger decimal value would be the larger fraction. So 0.8 is greater than 0.75. 0.8 is nothing but 4. 0.8 is nothing but 4 by 5. 0.75 is nothing but 3 by 4. So if 0.8 is greater than 0.75, it means that 4 by 5 is greater than 3 by 4. Hope you understood the decimal method of comparing fractions. Now let's understand the LCM method for comparing fractions. LCM method to make the denominators the same. For comparing fractions with unlike denominators, first you have to find the LCM of the denominators to make the denominators the same. When the denominators are made the same, then the fraction with the larger numerator is the larger fraction. Let's understand this with an example. Which one is greater, 4 by 7 or 3 by 5? Now, first look at the denominators of the given fraction, 4 by 7 and 3 by 5. The denominator of 4 by 7 is 7. The denominator of 3 by 5 is 5. So, obviously the denominators are not the same. So first take the LCM of the denominators 7 and 5. The LCM of 7 and 5 is 35. Now make the denominators the same in both the fractions. You have to make the denominator as 35 in both the fractions. Now uh, take the fraction 4 by 7. To make the denominator 7 as 35, you have to multiply 7 with 5. So 7 multiplied by 5 is 35. Since you have multiplied the denominator with 5, multiplied the numerator also with 5. So 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. So you get the fraction 20 by 35 here. Similarly, take the fraction 3 by 5. To make 5 as 35, you have to multiply 5 with 7. So 5 multiplied by 7 is 35. multiply the numerator also with 7. So 3 multiplied by 7 is 21. So you get the fraction 21 by 35. Now compare the two fractions 20 by 35 and 21 by 35. You'll see that both the denominators are the same. The denominators in both the fractions are the same. So now you have to compare the numerators. Since 21 is greater than 20, the fraction with the larger numerator would be the larger fraction. So 21 by 35 is greater than 20 by 35. Since the denominators of both the fractions are the same here, you have to compare the numerators. So when you compare the numerators, you'll see that 21 is greater than 20. So 21 by 35 is greater than 20 by 35 because the fraction with the larger numerator will be the larger fraction. So if 21 by 35 is greater than 20 by 35, it means that 3 by 5 is greater than 4 by 7. Hope you understood this LCM method to compare the fractions. Now let's understand how to compare fractions using the cross multiplication method. In this method, we multiply the numerator of the first fraction with the denominator of the second fraction, and then multiply the numerator of the second fraction with the denominator of the first fraction. Finally, multiply the denominators to make the denominator as common. Then compare the fractions. Let's understand this with an example. Which one is greater, 4 by 7 or 3 by 5? Now, first we have to multiply the numerator of the first fraction with the denominator of the second fraction. So, 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. Next, multiply the numerator of the second fraction with the denominator of the first fraction. So, 3 multiplied by 7 is 21. Finally, multiply the denominators of both the fractions. So 7 multiplied by 5 is 35. So now you get the fractions 20 by 35 and 21 by 35. Now when you observe these two fractions, you'll notice that since the denominators are the same, the fraction with the greater numerator will be greater. So since 21 is greater than 20, 21 by 35 is greater than 20 by 35. Since the denominators are the same, you have to compare the numerators. Since 21 is greater than 20, the fraction 21 by 35 is greater than the fraction 20 by 35. Now 21 by 35 is nothing but 3 by 5. 20 by 35 is nothing but 4 by 7. So if 21 by 35 is greater than 20 by 35, it means that 3 by 5 is greater than 4 by 7. Hope you understood the cross multiplication method to compare fractions. Now let's learn how to insert fractions between two given fractions. For two given fractions a by b and c by d, the fraction whose value lies between a by b and c by d is a plus c divided by b plus d. By this method, any number of fractions can be inserted between two given fractions. Let's understand this with an example. Insert two fractions between 5 by 9 and 1 by 4. Now first let's find out a fraction between 5 by 9 and 1 by 4. To do that, you have to add the two numerators and you have to add the two denominators to get the new fraction. So 5 plus 1 is 6, 9 plus 4 is 13. So 6 by 13 is the new fraction that can be inserted between 5 by 9 and 1 by 4. Now next let's find a fraction between 6 by 13 and 1 by 4. To do that, again add the numerators and add the denominators of the two fractions. So 6 plus 1 is 7, 13 plus 4 is 17. So 7 by 17 is the fraction that can be inserted between 6 by 13 and 1 by 4. So the two fractions between 5 by 9 and 1 by 4 are 6 by 13 and 7 by 17. Now let's understand the concept of fractional part of a number. Fractional part of a number or quantity is simply the product of the related fraction and the given number. Let's understand this with an example. What is 2/3 of 120? 2 by 3 multiplied by 120 is 80. Here 80 is the fractional part of the number 120 and 2 by 3 is the related fraction. So the fractional part of the number 120 is the product of the related fraction and the number. Hope you have understood this. Now, as the fraction changes, the fractional part of the same number also changes. Look at these examples. Here, the number 120 remains the same in all the three examples. Only the fraction changes. So if the fraction changes, then the fractional part also changes. So 2/3 of 120 is 80. 1/4 of 120 is 30. 2/4 of 120 is 60. So here, as you can see, although the number remains the same, since the fraction changes in these three examples, the fractional part also changes in the examples. So as the fraction changes, the fractional part of the same number also changes. So now you know that the fractional part of a number is equal to its related fraction multiplied by the number. So if you have to find the number, then you have to divide the fractional part of the number by its related fraction. So number is equal to fractional part of the number divided by its related fraction. Now let's learn about the different mathematical operations on fractions. First, we learn about addition of fractions. First, we learn how to add fractions that have the same denominator. Then we'll learn how to add fractions that have different denominators. To add two or more fractions that have the same denominator, simply add the values in the numerator while keeping the denominator the same. Let's understand this with an example. Find the value of 3 by 8 plus 7 by 8. So here you have to add these two fractions. Now when you observe these two fractions, you'll notice that the denominators are the same. That is 8. So keep 8 as the denominator of the answer also. Now to find the numerator of the answer, you just have to add the values of the numerators of the given two fractions. So you have to add 3 plus 7, which is 10. So 10 is the numerator of the answer and 8 is the denominator of the answer. So you get the fraction 10 by 8. Now when you simplify 10 by 8, you will get the fraction as 5 by 4. So the value of 3 by 8 plus 5 by 8, 3 by 8 plus 7 by 8 is 5 by 4. When you add the two fractions 3 by 8 and 7 by 8, you get 5 by 4 as the answer. Now let's learn how to add two or more fractions that have different denominators. To add two or more fractions that have different denominators, first make the denominator across all fractions the same by finding the LCM of the denominators. Then add the two fractions. Let's understand this with an example. Find the value of 2 by 5 plus 1 by 3. So you have to add these two fractions, 2 by 5 and 1 by 3. When you look at these two fractions, you will notice that these two fractions have different denominators. So to make the denominators the same in these two fractions, you have to find the LCM of the denominators 5 and 3. The LCM of 5 and 3 is 15. So to make the denominator 15 in the fraction 2 by 5, you have to multiply 5 by 3. So when you multiply 5 with 3, you will get 15. Since you have multiplied the denominator with 3, multiply the numerator also with 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. So you get the fraction 6 by 15. Now take the fraction 1 by 3. To make 3 as 15, you have to multiply 3 with 5. So 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. Now multiply the numerator also with 5. So 1 multiplied by 5 is 5. So you got the fraction 5 by 15. So now you have to add 6 by 15 and 5 by 15. When you notice these two fractions, you'll see that the denominators are the same. So now to get the numerator of the answer, you just have to add the values of the numerators. So 6 plus 5 is 11. That is the numerator. Denominator is the same, 15. So finally you got the answer as 11 by 15. So when you add 2 by 5 and 1 by 3, you'll get the answer 11 by 15. Now we'll learn about subtraction of fractions. First we'll learn about subtraction of fractions that have the same denominator. Next we'll learn about subtraction of fractions that have different denominators. To subtract two or more fractions that have the same denominator, simply subtract the values in the numerator while keeping the denominator the same. Let's understand this with an example. Find the value of 7 by 8 minus 3 by 8. So now you have to subtract these two fractions, 7 by 8 and 3 by 8. When you observe these two fractions, you will notice that the denominators are the same, that is 8. So keep 8 as the denominator of the answer also. Now, since the denominators are the same, to subtract these two fractions, you just have to subtract the values of the numerator. So 7 minus 3 is 7 minus 3 is 4. So 4 is the numerator and 8 is the denominator. So now you get the fraction 4 by 8. When you simplify 4 by 8, you will get the answer as 1 by 2. So the value of 7 by 8 minus 3 by 8 is 1 by 2. Now let's learn how to subtract two or more fractions that have different denominators. To subtract two or more fractions that have different denominators, first make the denominator across all the fractions the same by finding the LCM of the denominators. Then subtract the two fractions. Let's understand this with an example. Find the value of 3 by 8 minus 17 by 24. So now you have to subtract these two fractions. When you observe these two fractions, you'll notice that the denominators are different. So first, to make the denominators the same, you have to find the LCM of the denominators 8 and 24. LCM of 8 and 24 is 24. So first, consider the fraction 3 by 8. To make the denominator 8 as 24, you have to multiply 8 with 3. So 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. Since you have multiplied the denominator with 3, multiply the numerator also with 3. So 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. So now you get the fraction 9 by 24. Now 17 by 24 has the denominator as 24, so you can keep this number as it is. So finally you get the sum as 9 by 24 minus 17 by 24. Now you observe that the two denominators are the same. So keep the same denominator in the answer also. So 24 will be the denominator in the answer. Now since the denominators are the same, you just have to subtract the values of the numerators. So 9 minus 17 is minus 8. So minus 8 is the numerator. So the final answer is minus 8 divided by 24. When you simplify this, you will get the answer as minus 1 by 3. So the value of 3 by 8 minus 17 by 24 is minus 1 by 3. Now let's learn about multiplication of fractions. First, we'll learn about multiplication of a fraction by an integer. Then we'll learn about multiplication of a fraction by a fraction. Multiplication of a fraction by an integer. When you multiply a fraction with an integer, you have to keep the denominator unchanged. Only multiply the numerator by the integer. Let's understand this with examples. Multiply the fraction 3 by 7 with the integer 3. So you have to keep the denominator as it is in the answer. So 7 will be the denominator of the answer also. You have to get the numerator, you have to multiply the numerator of the fraction with the integer. So 3 multiplied by 3 is 9 and 9 is the numerator of the answer. So finally you get the answer as 9 by 7. When you multiply 3 by 7 with 3, the answer is 9 by 7. Now let's learn how to multiply a mixed fraction with an integer. Look at this example, 2 3 by 7 multiplied by 5. First you have to convert this mixed fraction into an improper fraction. 2 3 by 7 can be written as 17 by 7. So now multiply 17 by 7 with the integer 5. Keep 7 as the denominator of the answer also. To get the numerator of the answer, multiply the numerator of the fraction with the integer. So 17 multiplied by 5 is 85. 85 is the numerator of the answer and 7 is the denominator of the answer. So finally you got the answer as 85 by 7. Now divide 85 by 7. You will get 12 1 by 7. So when you multiply 2 3 by 7 with 5, you get the answer as 12 1 by 7. Now let's understand how to multiply a fraction with a fraction. So here you have to first multiply the numerators together, then multiply the denominators together to get the answer. If possible, you can simplify the answer. Let's understand this with an example. Multiply 30 by 7 with 21 by 4. So first you have to multiply the numerators together to get the numerator of the answer, and then multiply the denominators together to get the denominator of the answer. So 30 multiplied by 21 is 630. 7 multiplied by 4 is 28. So the answer is 630 by 28. When you simplify this, you will get 45 by 2. When you divide 45 by 2, you will get 22 1 by 2. So when you multiply 30 by 7 and 21 by 4, you will get the answer as 22 1 by 2. Now let's learn about division of fractions. To divide by a fraction, you have to multiply it by its reciprocal. A by B divided by C by D is nothing but A by B multiplied by D by C, because the reciprocal of C by D is D by C. So A by B multiplied by D by C is AD by BC. Let's understand the division process with examples. Divide 4 by 7 with 3. So the reciprocal of 3 is 1 by 3. So now dividing 4 by 7 by 3 means multiplying 4 by 7 with 1 by 3. 1 by 3 is the reciprocal of 3. So 4 by 7 multiplied by 1 by 3 is 4 by 21. Let's look at another example. 2 by 7 divided by 3 by 8. Now the reciprocal of 3 by 8 is 8 by 3. So dividing 2 by 7 by 3 by 8 means multiplying 2 by 7 with 8 by 3. 8 by 3 is the reciprocal of 3 by 8. So 2 by 7 multiplied by 8 by 3 is 16 by 21. Hope you have understood the division of fractions. Viewers, hope you have understood the concept of fractions. Watch our video on decimals to learn all about decimals. If you have liked this video, please like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you.